Hello here, this is Oscar Jim Daly and I bring you good tidings. So now about the Kenyan protest. Why are the Kenyans on the streets? The Kenyans are protesting against a financial bill that is going to bring about hike in taxation. So in the 2024-2025 bill, the Kenyan government aims to raise additional $2.7 billion through taxes in order to reduce the state budget deficit and additional state borrowing. So Kenya's public debt is currently at 68%, higher than the 55% that was recommended by the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund (IMF). So the proposed bill is meant to raise taxes on daily items and services, including internet data, bank transfer charges, diapers, and fuel. So some of these measures were stripped as anger grew in the streets of Kenya, and that is why the Kenyan people are on the streets against the proposed financial bill, especially the Gen Z. So many people have tried to draw comparison between the resolve and the focus of this Kenyan youth and that of their Nigerian counterparts. But I beg to differ in some of this comparison. Why I agree that there is so much the Nigerian people need to learn about the ongoing protests in Kenya, it is also not going to be unfair if we downplay the effort and the resolve the Nigerian youth put out in 2020 during the protest against police brutality, the NSAS protest. The NSAS protest was huge, it was powerful, it was also an inspiration to other African countries at the time. So we are not going to downplay the efforts the Nigerian youth made in 2020. It should be commended. But I agree that we need to learn from our Kenyan counterparts. I have watched closely the protest and monitored the protest going on in Kenya keenly, and I can tell you that there's so many things that we are lacking in that of NSAS protest, and I'm going to be highlighting them. One of the things that we are lacking in NSAS protest was the fact that Nigerians did not have direction at the time. There was no coordination, there was no focus, and there was no resolve. You know, I have followed Kenyans, and I joined the Twitter spaces they held, especially on Saturday night. They held a Twitter space where they had over 50,000 listeners. 50,000 people joined that Twitter space. That is the highest I have ever seen. So it was on this Twitter space, that they organized themselves, that they directed the moves they are going to make, the strategic places they are going to be occupying. Because on Saturday night, they proposed to occupy churches nationwide in the whole of Kenya, especially in the capital city of Nairobi, where President Ruto was going to be worshiping. And of course, on Sunday, they occupied the particular church William Ruto worshipped in. You understand? So I think this is one of the things that was lacking during the NSAS protest. Unlike the NSAS protest, where Nigerian people were static, they were at a spot at Lekki Gate, where the protest was turned into carnival, or maybe call it festival. They had different types of artists come to perform. People were dancing, smoking, eating. It's not like that in the Kenyan protest. The Kenyan protest had more direction. It has coordination. There was no need, to invite music artists to perform. The Kenyan people occupied strategic places like the parliament, houses of politicians, churches. So I think these are the things Nigerians need to learn. We need to be focused on what we want and not divert attention, by turning the protest into carnival. He gave the politicians an opportunity to infiltrate the protest through thugs and hooligans and turned it into a violent protest where they invited the military to shoot at the protesters. So this is actually what Nigerians need to learn. We need to be focused. Again, one thing the Nigerians need to learn from our Kenyan counterparts is their resolve. Even though that protesters have been shot dead in Kenya, it did not stop them from continuing to protest. But in 2020 during the NSAS, when the soldiers, opened fire on protesters at Lekki toll gate, the entire Nigerian youth, stopped the protest. Everybody ran away, and the people that died, absolutely, you can say that they died for nothing, because the police brutality has not stopped. Even EFCC has added to the brutality, has added to the harassment. So these results are the things Nigerians are going to learn. I wish my Kenyan brothers and sisters the best. We are all fighting the same monsters, corrupt politicians. And one day we shall have an egalitarian society which we wish for.